Okay, let's run.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it.
It's a quest. It's a quest for fun.
Well, The Rock says, why don't we just cut right to the chase?
Okay, now he wants to get together. Well, he wants to talk.
I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
It's showtime, folks!
What are you?
Greetings, salutations. This is, and I quote, a weekly show where we introduce you to some of the best creators from all over the world, and we find out more about them by taking your questions. I am your host, Ryan of And I Quote Channel, and our guest on this episode is indie writer extraordinaire. He's decked out in green for St. Paddy's Day, like the Irish. Go Notre Dame! Please welcome Scott Sykes is in the building. What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing well, good sir. We're thankful that you are here. We're also thankful that you are here, maybe watching and listening to this program right now. So do not forget to like and share with all of your closest friends. If you have any questions for our guest of honor, Scott Sykes, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. More than happy to take those as they come in respectively. With that all being said and done, Scott, what would you say were some of your favorite books or writers growing up as a Padawan learner?
The first books that I really remember reading were a lot of Sherlock Holmes books, actually. I did back then we had to do book reports in school, which I don't think they do anymore. But now I used to do a lot of the Sherlock Holmes or Arthur Conan Doyle. And then I got hooked on David Eddings, Mercedes Lackey, and Orson Scott Card. They're probably the three that I read the most, like in high school and right after.
Ooh, fascinating stuff. Yeah, I actually have a volume, the hardcover? It's a special edition from Barnes & Noble called The Complete Adventures or Complete Mysteries of Sherlock Holmes by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I don't know if you've seen that or not.
I haven't seen
it.
It.
It's really cool. Look forward to reading it. I'm sorry it's on my TBR. I haven't gotten to it yet because my TBR behind me over here is 120 plus deep.
Yeah,
it's sad. It's pathetic. I know it's really bad, but I'm doing my best here, fellas. I just finished another book last night. That means I've read 7 books so far in 2026. So I'm doing pretty good.
That's
pretty good. Yeah, 7 is a good number, right? But I think I could do better. So I'm going to do my best to read as much as I can this year. It's one of my goals for 2026. So we'll keep that in mind.
See back here behind me, I got all these.
Oh my
shelves.
Goodness!
I've got a bunch of shelves over here. I think we just counted. It's 845 books I have in the house right now. Most of them have been read, but not quite all of them.
Oh, because I was gonna say, what's the percentage of have been read and TBR?
I would say probably about 15% TBR.
Nice.
Pretty good.
You're doing but you're doing a much better job than I am. So we're gonna look at the numbers here. If anyone's a mathematician at home in their own studio, let us know what the numbers are in the comments. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. But yeah, I've read 7 so far, and I just finished one last night. It's called Snow Island by Bobby Nash. It's a crime thriller. It's about this former undercover operative who's turned as a PI working for his grandfather's private security firm. Abraham Snow is the name of the character. And Snow goes on vacation to meet up with some friends of his from his undercover days in the islands of Hawaii. And when he goes to get some R&R, Scott, it doesn't go quite the way he had planned, and he gets caught up in a bit of an adventure there. So if anyone's into that sort of stuff, go to bobbynash.com and look up the Snow series, or you can go to abrahamsnow.com. That's a website specifically designed for the series, simply known as Snow. So feel free to check that out as you will. There you go, Bobby Nash. Free plug for you, buddy, because he's a good friend of the show. We love that guy.
Oh, cool.
It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, no, I've read some Sherlock Holmes recently. I actually just started reading some Sherlock Holmes stories. And I got to be honest, the stories I've read were written by Christopher D. Abbott, Aaron Rosenberg, some of the indie writers from CrazyApePress.com, doing their own, kind of take on the characters, still sticking to the traditions, but also putting their own spin on it. And I really like it so far. I'm very much enjoying the Sherlock Holmes stories I've read so far, so I'm looking forward to reading more, because the detective and the what do you call it? The relationship, the teamwork dynamic between him and Watson is really, really good to read.
Oh yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. Is there any particular Sherlock Holmes story or mystery, or specific titles that stand out to you the most as being some of your favorites?
I think my favorite was always Hound of the Baskervilles.
Mm-hmm.
That was always one of my favorites. I haven't read them in years, but yeah, that was always one of my favorites.
Yeah, I've heard that one too. I have yet to read it. Sorry, Christopher D. Abbott. I know you're the big proponent of Sherlock, and I get it, by the way. I completely understand. But yeah, I got to sit down and read that at some point. Hound of the Baskervilles. Yeah, I got to get on that at some point. Believe me. What would you say are some of your favorite TV series, past or present? Anything out there?
TV series? Well, one, it's actually being pretty good right now, is loved Firefly. I've got a whole section over here of the Firefly books that they came out with after the show. I've got the whole movies, the movie that came out. It's actually kind of cool because going to AwesomeCon next week, and almost the whole cast that's still alive of Firefly is going to be there. And apparently there's supposed to be some big announcement on Sunday about something that they're doing. It's not a podcast, it's not a convention, so hopefully it's something where they're coming out with a new show.
Oh my, yeah, maybe they're finally gonna bring the band back together, and as the brown coats love to say, aim to misbehave.
Yeah.
So we aim to misbehave, Scott. We aim to misbehave.
So hopefully they come up with something like that. So AwesomeCon will be fun. I've never been out there, so that'll be a good time.
Oh, is this your first time tabling at the show?
I won't be tabling. We're actually, well, I kind of am. So I'm part of a cooperative called the Crowded Shelf.
Mm-hmm.
So they take all these indie authors and they go to all these cons that I can't go to, and they sell my books there. But when they're in the area, they want us to stop by and kind of help sell and, work a couple shifts or whatever. So I will be doing a couple shifts with them while going to the panels and stuff. So it'll be kind of fun because I don't have to like load everything in and load everything out and stay there the whole time like when I was actually tabling. But I can still take some time and try to sell and still enjoy the con too. So be kind of different.
Nice. Well, I hope you have a great time. Hope they sell a lot of books for you. Get your name out there. Get some more eyes and ears on the property.
Oh yeah, definitely.
For sure. And AwesomeCon is one of the biggest shows of the year. So it's fasten your seatbelts, folks. Our nation's capital is going to get rocked by nerdom.
Yep.
I would venture to say that is for darn sure. Any favorite movies of yours?
Movies.
Yeah, past or present. Could be something most recent or something from 40 years ago. Sorry, the 80s were a great decade. Let's not lie to ourselves.
80s were good. Loved a lot of the 90s movies, the gritty ones, like the late 80s, I guess, early 90s. So you talking the Schwarzeneggers, the Total Recalls, the Running Man, RoboCop, all that gritty. The future is dystopian type of movies. Escape from New York, Escape from LA. Used to love all of those.
Yeah, there you go. Good titles there too. The Rambos, I'm assuming. The First Bloods. Yep. First Blood this, First Blood Part. Which, by the way, you go from First Blood to Rambo, First Blood, but it's Part 2.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so that's.
Yeah, they weren't good at naming movies back then.
It's a very wordy title, but I got to be honest with you. Of the sequels, not counting, because First Blood is a great film on its own. Let's not kid ourselves. But I actually really enjoy First Blood Part 2. I really do. I really enjoy that sequel. That is actually my favorite of all the sequels. I like 2, 3, 4 a little too uber violent for me. I know a lot of people love it, and that's fine. And then Rambo Last Blood, I thought was a good ender for that. I thought it was a good.
I thought they ended it well. That was cool.
I thought it was good.
That they're going back to and doing now, and finishing the Schwarzenegger ones and finishing his. I think they did pretty well with it.
Yeah, I think, Rambo Last Blood. If you haven't seen it yet, feel free to check it out. There's another movie recommendation out there for you. It's free. All good things. So when did you start writing?
I actually didn't start writing until I started writing about 9 years ago, about 2017. It took me 5 years to write the first book because I really wasn't writing a book. I kind of had an earworm and decided to write the first line and then kind of worked from there. First published was in 22. So I've been publishing for almost 4 years now.
Well, congratulations on that. That's great. Fantastic stuff. Awesome. I mean, everybody has a different kind of journey. It's not about the destination. It's about the journey anyway. So.
Yep. I never thought about writing. Never was
Really?
a thing in my head. Yeah. And just when I was in school, didn't really like English. I mean, I loved reading, but didn't really love English and the grammar and dealing with all that. And I'm still not good at it. You can ask my editor. She is also my wife. So she loves telling me when I'm wrong and pointing it all out. So,
oh my goodness gracious. It's the old expression, happy wife, happy life. Sorry. Just, it's what I've been told over the years by some friends of mine who have rings on their fingers. So,
right.
It's just one of those things I've been hearing a lot. It's like, hey, as long as you do this is going to work out. If you do this, that, and the other, everything's going to be fine. But as long as it's happy wife, happy life, it's all you got to worry about. I'm like, really? It's that simple?
Yeah.
No, it's not simple. It's not simple at all. Marriage is not simple. Relationships are not simple. Things could be complicated. Things could be challenging, but you do your best to work through them and, just see where it goes. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying this is a result of this relationship over here, this relationship over there. I'm just speaking in general terms. I'm not targeting any specific group or anything like that. So I would never do that. Once again, friendly reminder, this is Anti Quote. Don't forget to like and share if you're watching us live on replay. Thank you for doing so. If you have any questions for Scott Sykes, our guest of honor, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. More than happy to hear from you as they come in respectively. What is your writing process like? Are you a pantser? Do you outline it first? How do you go about it?
I'm pretty much a pantser. Just kind of get an idea of a story and I start writing it out. I always say, like, Stephen King, he always has a hard time finishing a book. Like, his books are all great, and then like the ending is always kind of like you fall off a cliff. I'm the other way. I have trouble starting a book, so I just kind of write something down, and then I'll find the meat of the story, and then when I go back and edit, I have to change my beginning almost all the time, just because I'm just trying to get to where I can find that voice for that story and those characters and kind of go from there. But I'm also a very linear writer, so I can't write a section and then go back and write a section before and then put in the thing like, oh, write fight scene here. Like, I can't do that. I have to write from the beginning to the end, and then I go back and I edit from the beginning to the end every time. I have to go from that whole way. I can't just piecemeal it. My brain just doesn't work that way.
Gotcha. I actually just started experimenting with outlining a story I'm piecing together myself. So, I hear outlining can be very helpful in putting together your story, piecing it together, figuring out act 1, act 2, and act 3, and all that stuff. So we'll see how it goes. But I understand where you're coming from with your process in regards to your writing. I completely understand. It makes total sense. What have been some of the rewards for you in terms of being a writer? What do you think of the rewards?
I think some of my favorite things that I've gotten is when somebody at a different con or a different craft fair that I go to had gotten one of my books, and they come back and they buy the rest of the series, and just getting that interaction with the people that have read the story and want to finish the rest of it. That's the only reason I write. That's the only reason I put the books out there, really. I'm never going to get rich off of it. But I do it just for that interaction and just putting a story out there that somebody enjoys. Absolutely.
On the opposite side of the coin, though, what would you say are some of the biggest challenges about being a writer?
Marketing and trying to figure out how much money to put into something, knowing that you're not going to get much money out of the back end. Now, most hobbies you don't, like I also play golf, and, I put $1,000 a year into golf fees and everything else, and I don't get anything out of that. So I kind of think of it that way, but that's the challenging part is like, and I guess the rejections, so just finding that, and then you put things out there and then you get rejected. I mean, writers get rejected a lot. I'm getting better at that over the last 4 years, but just that, just that rejection. And I don't really have that. I guess some people talk about imposter syndrome. I don't really have that. I feel what I write is good. But getting rejected, I mean, knowing that it's not about the story, it's that your story doesn't fit what they're looking for, but it still sucks.
Yeah, we've talked about imposter syndrome on a few episodes of this program, and it can be tough on some people. For others, they just kind of brush off and think, what I write is good. I'm going to put it out there. If they like it, that's great. If they don't, that's fine too. It's just one of those things. Not every story is meant for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, at 854 books, obviously they're not all the same genre. So I read a lot of different stuff. So I mean, what a great book is for one isn't a great book for another. It's just how it is.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Very true. What advice would you give to aspiring writers out there?
So the biggest advice I give to people that say they're writing or wanting to write is just putting it down. Just, you got to get the story out and get the whole story out. You don't start a story, you don't start writing it and then go back and try to edit and make that part perfect. You have to get the whole story out, get the whole story out of your head, get it down on paper, and then you go back and edit, because the first draft is always going to be crap. it's always going to be something that you're like, yeah, that's no good. But that's where the editing phase comes in. But once the story's all out there, now you can edit. You can't edit a blank page. Everybody's heard that. But you got to edit the whole story together. But you have to know where the whole story is going and where it ends before you go back and edit. And even if you're an outliner, then you can outline everything. The story's still going to go a different way somewhere than you expected it to go. So you got to get that whole thing out before you start to edit, because I know a lot of people, they go back and try to edit, and that's what hangs them up. That's why they don't end up finishing the story.
Good words of wisdom there. The more you know. There you go. There's I know there's a throwback from way back, but still. Throwing it out there. But good piece of advice, though. Really good piece of advice. So speaking of writing, putting together stories, all that kind of jazz, let's take a look at this here. And I want to share this with you for those of you who are watching and listening right now. A Faded Blue. What exactly is a Faded Blue, and how did this book or series come about?
So A Faded Blue is actually the fourth book and last book in the Blue series. It's a series between, it goes back and forth between the sister's perspective, Ava, and the brother, Matthew, his perspective. So it actually kind of worked out because it's Eyes of Blue, a Dim Blue, Loss of Blue, and then a Faded Blue. If it has the A at the beginning, it's written by Matthew. If it has of in the title, it's written by Ava. It just kind of worked out that way. It wasn't a plan, but so A Faded Blue is the final chapter. The whole problems, the undead, the alien spores, all of that has been solved. All that's gone. This is what's happened to the world and the people of the world after. So the first three are, you're learning about the world and the undead and the debtors, and then they go and they solve the problem with scientists and military, and then this is the after effects, and it's all from Matthew's perspective. He actually has a form of dementia because he had the spores in him. So when they disappeared, it gave him an early onset dementia. So it's kind of him dealing with that and not. So the story kind of fades in and out because it's from his perspective. So time jumps, he doesn't realize they're time jumps. So it was kind of a fun story to write because it's linear, but it's not quite as linear as you think it is.
No, that's fascinating stuff to see the perspective between a brother and a sister and what they've experienced and what the other person has experienced. We don't see that too often in literature. We don't see it too often in stories. Mostly they focus on one character or a group of characters, but a brother and sister dynamic is a really interesting thing to bring to the mix because we don't always see that. Because with movies that we saw when we were kids, sure, you had the Goonies with, Brant and Mikey, they were brothers, but it was more about the group more so than just the brothers. Yep. So it's an interesting dynamic that you play with here in your Blue series, respectively.
Yep.
Really well done. Now, just out of curiosity, if these were to be picked up as an animated series or a movie franchise, who would you cast as these characters? Or voiceover actors?
Yeah, that's tough. I'll tell you, the Ava's character, the sister, she's very much like the one from Last of Us, the character. I can't remember her name right now for some reason.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, I'm blanking on it, too.
Ellie?
Yeah, that's it, Ellie. Ellie is the character name, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So the girl that played Ellie in the Last of Us show, I think would be good because I think she nailed Ellie really well. And that's kind of the same kind of attitude that Ava has, that same kind of demeanor. Very, very strong female personality and doesn't really take a lot of shit, but still is still not quite as, doesn't know the world the way she thinks she does because she's a teenager. Ashley Johnson was the actress who portrayed her. Yeah. Yep, she would be good. And as for Matt, I don't know. I'm not really good with keeping up with actors' names and stuff.
Oh.
I'm like, I really get into the shows and the movies, and I think of them as the characters and not really as the actors.
I gotcha. But hey, at least we got the Ashley Johnson part covered because she played Ellie on the Last of Us television series alongside Pedro Pascal.
Yep.
Who was the co-lead, I would say, in that show. And Pedro Pascal has been everywhere, and I mean everywhere, from Last of Us to Mandalorian.
Now he's what? Mr. Fantastic and the new
Reed Richards. Reed Richards. That's right. Yeah. Marvel's, what is it? Fantastic Four, the movie that just came out, The First Steps. Fantastic Four, The First Steps. Yeah. So yeah, Pedro Pascal, well done, buddy. Getting a lot of paychecks, a lot of fat paychecks in your mailbox.
That's for sure.
Man, it's everything that man did last year and the year before that. My gosh. Whew. Talk about being one of the busiest actors in the business today, folks. It's just one of those things. Where do you see indie writing, indie publishing going in the next 5 or 10 years? Things going to continue to grow and evolve, maybe overtake some of the bigger names out there?
I would hope so. I think there's a lot of indie publishers that are coming together. A lot of indie authors are coming together to do like groups like the Crowded Shelf with us, that we're all kind of get together and we work together. You're seeing that a lot more. You're also, I think, seeing a lot more of the regular population of people getting tired of the same tropes getting forced upon them. The big five publishers, they do the same thing over and over. I mean, you can even go into Barnes and Noble and all the covers look the same. Like they all have these same elements. The titles have the same elements to them. They found something that worked and they just going to stay with that algorithm. And I think people are getting tired of it a little bit. And I think they're going to the indies a little bit more, where people can take risks. You can take risk on a story and write something that's completely different and outside of the realm of what people have been allowed to see before. I mean, these stories have been around, but I think you're starting to see a little more, even in the Barnes and Nobles and the Books A Millions and stuff like that. You're starting to see they're covering a little bit more of the bigger indie authors and the indie publishers. So I do think that you'll start seeing a lot more of the smaller publishers start coming out.
Oh, that's good to know, because every time I walk into Barnes & Noble, it's always epic fantasy or romantasy, as someone might say. Romance. And I'm like, dude, if I want romance, I'll watch one of my Disney movies from the 90s, okay, fellas? I don't need this. I don't need these books on this corner of the store. I'm sorry. It's just not my cup of tea. But there is an audience out there for every genre, let's be honest. So,
and Book Talk is really big with the romantasies and the romance and stuff like that. And I think that's where Barnes & Noble gets their idea of it. But and they sell enough, obviously, to keep that in there. But that's still a small part of a readership out there. Like it's, there's a lot of people that read everything other than, and it's just hard to find even some of the big names. Like you go into Barnes and Noble, I can't find Mercedes Lackey anymore. They don't have her in there. Because she's just not one of the top selling authors anymore. She was for decades, but she's just not that hot topic right now. Even though she just came out with a new series in her big Valdemar series, so it's just, they show what the algorithm tells them to buy.
I can understand that. Hopefully things will start to shift in a bit of a different, more positive way. We'll have to wait and see about that. Of course. Any special memories for you from being at conventions or book signings, whether you're there as the vendor or the attendee?
I think one of the biggest ones that kind of turned me is my wife is a very big Cheryl and Kenyon fan. And growing up, reading Stephen King and Dean Koontz and all these people, you kind of think of them like these stars, right? Because you see movie stars and they're always this untouchable. I lived near LA for a long time, and you don't see them out in real public and stuff like that. So I kind of always thought these big authors were the same way. We went to AuthorCon in Williamsburg about 3 years ago. When I was starting to get in conventions, I wanted to kind of see what they were like. And Cheryl and Kenyon was there. And my wife's, like I said, a huge fan. And every morning we go down and she'd basically sit down and have a cup of coffee and talk to Sherilyn like they had known each other for years. So it was just really cool to see these big name authors that don't have these big personas or these big ideas of who they are. They're not these big movie stars or whatever. They're just normal, everyday people. And you can see that even through all of the authors. Everybody's out there to help each other. So like going to all the conventions, it's kind of cool seeing that.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And glad we're seeing more authors out there taking a swinging for the fences, seeing more indie authors out there. I've been beginning to see a lot more in my experience at a lot of different shows, the smaller shows, some of the bigger ones. And that's great. We want that to progress and continue to grow and evolve and all that kind of jazz. So it's all good things, all positive things. I would venture to say. Who is an author, living or dead, you would love to have a conversation with, and why?
Living or dead that I would like to have a conversation with. I would think Mercedes Lackey, probably. The depth of her stories and the way that she was able to keep these storylines through these 30 years that she's been writing, and just adding to them, going back and inserting a story in here in between these two other stories, but not changing anything of the canon, even though she's going back and filling in spots. Just how that you can keep all of that straight, how you can create a new story inside of such a big universe and do it so well for so long. It's just, I would love to have a conversation about that. Like just what her process is. And I mean, obviously she's an outliner and she's probably got pages and pages and pages of, what's that one guy where he's like looking weird from Sunny in Philadelphia, and he's got all these strings everywhere.
Charlie Day. Yeah.
Yeah. I imagine her house has to look like that. I'm sure it doesn't, but that's like the way I imagine it, So that's, she would be one that I would love to talk to, just to try to figure that out. Cause just even my 4-book series, and now I'm going back and doing a comic in the middle of one of the books, just trying to make sure everything stays canon and you don't add a plot hole in there is difficult.
Yeah, definitely takes time, definitely takes strategy, takes planning. That is for darn sure. And thanks for the recommendation when it comes to a certain author. I have to check out their books. What would you say? And remind us, what's a good place to start with that person's books?
So for Mercedes Lackey, the Valdemar series starts with Magic's Pawn.
There we go.
Yep, I think that's the first book in there, at least linearly, time-wise. I don't know if it was her first book, but time-wise, it's the first book.
Magic's Pawn. All right. I like that. It's an interesting title, too. Magic's Pawn. Yep. All right. What are we playing? A game of chess? Was it Bobby Fischer? I don't know. Where's Bobby Fischer? I don't know. There's a sketch from SNL there for you right there. That's going back a few years, but still, it is, isn't it? But we digress. What is a book that belongs on everyone's bookshelf that is not one of your own?
Let me think.
I know that's a big bookshelf behind you. There's so many options.
Yeah, I got a lot of books.
I mean, it's bigger than my bookshelf. Let's be perfectly honest. I mean, if you took pictures of that and sent it to me, then I could see some of the titles up close. But yeah, no, that's a much bigger shelf than mine.
Yeah, and then I've got more over here that by the door and everything. Let's see.
All corners of the home, I would venture to say.
Yeah, this whole section over here is. I would say that one book that I think it would have to be Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card.
Ooh.
It's very sci-fi, but even if you took the space part out of it, it's still a very good story. Like you can take the sci-fi out of it, and the story itself of the kid and what he went through is still kind of hits. So I think that would be something that everybody kind of should have to read.
Okay, I've heard of it. Some other readers have told me to read it. I'll add, in the words of Cap, I'll add it to the list.
Yeah.
Because that's all I do every day, Scott, is I pull the Captain America gif on my friends and I say, I'll add it to the list, which is a very extensive, it's a very long list, okay? It's a very, very long list. I mean, my buddy, indie author, by the way, Lou Tambone told me, because I asked him, I said, what's one of your favorite writers? He looks at me and he says, Stephen King. I said, okay, where's a good place to start for someone who hasn't read any of Stephen King's works? He says, oh, you got to go back to like his first 5, 6, 7 books. The Christines, the Dark Towers, the Gunslingers, the this, that, and the other. And I thought, okay, let me look online. So I look online, look at the list, and I thought, okay, a lot of these books are really, really thick. And I don't want to eat that big of a sandwich. Okay, I don't need that big of a sandwich. So I found The Gunslinger, written by Stephen King, and I said, let's just go with that because I'm fascinated by gunslingers. I like westerns. The Dark Tower has been an interesting series for me over the years that I just haven't gotten the chance to read / get into. So I got a copy of The Gunslinger. It's over here. It's on the shelf. It's on the priority shelf number 1. So it's going to be read sooner or later, Lou Tambone. It's going to be read, and then I'm going to text you and let you know my 2 cents on The Gunslinger, which is, once again, part of the Dark Tower series. Let's just get that out of the way.
The problem is the Gunslinger is only like this wide.
Yeah,
but it's going to hook you. It's going to hook you in, and then you get to like the Song of Susanna, and it's like this, and then
it's like, yeah, it's big. What the Song of Susanna is like this? Is it that big of a sandwich? Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So and it hooks you, and you got to keep reading. Like,
thanks, Lou Tambone. I'm going to blame you once I finish Gunslinger. If I really like The Gunslinger, which I'm thinking I will, because the title alone just gets me. If I like The Gunslinger, which is the one over here, I'm going to text Lou. I'll text you. I'll be like, hey guys, Gunslinger was really good. I'm going to go back online and get the other books now. Thanks a lot. I blame you for my problems. Anyway, hey, look, when you come home and you have a great story waiting for you, that's not a bad thing to have in one's home, honestly. No. That is not a bad thing to have in a person's home. Case in point, look at Scott Sykes' home. He's got hundreds of books just displayed and sitting around on ridiculously good-looking bookshelves, by the way. Fantastic. Now, by the way, are those bookshelves organized for you? Are they in ABC or series order?
They are by author.
All right. Okay, author. Yep. Alphabetically?
No.
Alphabetically.
Some of it is. So I have shelves that are only for mass market paperback, and then I have shelves that are wider for hardcovers.
Yep.
So they kind of go in, and some of them most of them, like one section is a type of book. Like I have Dungeons and Dragons over here.
Oh.
I've got Mercedes Lackey right below it because they're also fantasy. So they're kind of grouped by like fantasy, sci-fi, but then by author also.
Oh, that's, in the words of Spock, fascinating. It's great. I love it. I absolutely love it. That's a good way to organize stuff, to be honest with you. That's a good system, I would venture to say, that you have there. And this is a good system of an episode of And I Quote with Scott Sykes, the librarian extraordinaire. Do not forget, sorry, to give you credit. Do not forget to like and share. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. Oh, let's talk about books and organizing your bookshelves. Yeah, we could be here for hours.
Right.
Discussing that because I see how good your bookshelves are, and I'm thinking, if only I can make mine look as good as that. I'm never going to be in Scott Sykes' league, but that's okay. I'm used to being in my itty bitty little corner, even though nobody puts Ryan in a corner. But
you're pulling stuff out.
Once again, there's another reference for everybody at home. Anyone's wondering what it is? Yeah, go look up the 80s movie Dirty Dancing. You'll find out more later. I'm just throwing it out there for the record. Gosh. So is there an author you hope to meet somewhere down the line at a convention where you may or may not be tabling at that you haven't had a chance to? Any other writers out there?
Actually, yeah, there's a small writer. Well, he's got a sci-fi series. He's an indie author. Really kind of hit it big lately with his Rack and Ruin series. It's a zombie book series. It's Otto Schaefer. I really love the way his books are, but I also really like, so I follow him on TikTok and Insta and all that. And just the way that he markets his books and everything and way he does, I would just like to meet him. The books are great. I like his marketing scheme. So it'd be kind of cool to meet him.
Awesome sauce. Well, we hope those dreams do come true for you as we go throughout this course of what is known as life, I would venture to say. So all good things. Well, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to Scott Sykes for being our guest on this week's episode of And I Quote. Scott, it was great to see you, great to hear from you, and hear about all the wonderful things that you've been doing and things that you're going to be doing. If someone wants to know more about you, pick up copies of your books, where can they follow you?
So I'm on Instagram, Facebook, SM Sykes Author. I don't really do TikTok too much anymore. Just trying to keep up with the videos is just too much. So those, and then pretty much anywhere you see SM Sykes Author, that's me.
Awesome. Well, we took liberty of posting those links in the description of this video down below. We also took liberty of posting something you mentioned earlier. If you can give everyone a quick overview, It's crowdedshelf.com. We took the liberty of posting the website link in the comments of this video. So someone who's unfamiliar with Crowded Shelf, what exactly is it?
It's just a group of small indie authors. We all got together and we all go to shows, all cons, different ones, and we push each other's books. So if I go to a con like Awesome Con, and a couple of the authors obviously can't make it there because they're from Texas or Arizona, so we sell their books there, and then we do the profit sharing off of that. So it's a way to get small indie authors out there together, and we all just kind of push each other and help each other out and work that way. So we all get our name out a little bit more.
Well, teamwork makes the dream work, and we took the liberty of posting the link to that in the comments of this episode on our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch feeds. So feel free to check that out, folks, because that is a great idea. I looked at the website as we were talking. It looks fantastic. There's a lot of writers listed on there. So check it out. Support those who support you. Indie supports indie around here, Scott. That's what we do. Yeah. So check it out. Check them out on the road. Awesome Con is March 13th to the 15th in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. in the, I believe it's the Walter E. Convention Center, if I'm not mistaken. So yes, that's in the heart of our nation's capital. Check them out. They'll be there. Treat yourself, because it's a new year. It's a new you, so to speak. Treat yourself. In the words of Parks and Rec, treat yourself. Buy some books. Add it to your shelf. Or heck, put together a shelf so you can add books to it like Scott did. Because look at all the ridiculous number of shelves in his studio. It is ridiculous, but it's awesome tackler. You know what else? It's money, Scott. You're so money, you just don't even know it.
Right.
Honestly, you're like a big bear, man. Gosh. Anyway, stick with me, Scott. I'm going to be talking to you here again momentarily. But my name is Ryan of Anti-Quote Channel. Follow me across all forms of social media, simply at Anti-Quote Channel, which is listed right here below my name. Links are in the description down below. I want to let you know we're on the road to 5,000 subscribers, ladies and gentlemen. 5,000. Once we do, we'll have a live stream that will include giveaways that you, the person who's watching or listening to this program right now, are going to be eligible to win. So we support you, you support us. It's free. All you got to do is just like, comment, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Also, the seasons are changing, as Scott and I were talking about in the green room earlier today. So we have hoodies, we have shirts, we have long sleeve shirts, t-shirts, stickers you can add to your water bottles. We have coffee mugs, we have notebooks available for you, and pens, all kinds of wonderful things. And our Redbubble store. So the link is in my link tree, which is located in the description of this video down below. And also, if you want to check out my short story, it's called Wolf of the West. If you're in the mood for a straight-up Western, it's a part of the Western anthology, Western Tales Volume 1, published by Veritas Entertainment. It's available in ebook, paperback, and hardcover. Links are down in the description below on my link tree and in our social media bios. Also, movie watch-alongs are on Friday night, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. It is March, and it's Mission March Madness. We already started with Mission Impossible turning 30. This upcoming week, we're going to be celebrating 20 years of Mission Impossible 3, one of the best, if not the best installment of the franchise. Yeah, that's right. I said it, Scott. I said it. And then the week after that, we're going to wrap things up with the 15th anniversary of Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. It's 1 month, ladies and gentlemen, just 1 month. And 3 Impossible watch-alongs. I invite you to join us because the first one was a lot of fun. Let's do it again. Seriously, let's do it again. So join us. Movie watch-alongs Friday night, 7 o'clock Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and Anti-Quote is normally on Saturdays unless otherwise specified. Saturdays, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. So check us out. Thank you so much for being a part of this episode. We cannot do this show without you. Do not forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, ring the bell to be notified when the videos go up or they go live. Remember, life is better when supporting indie creators from all over the world. Take a look.
I've been a superhero for a long time. It used to be so simple. You catch the bad guys, do the right thing, save the world. Then I met Aiden, and things got complicated.
Iris recruited me as a kid and turned me into their own personal weapon. I couldn't see any way out until I met Marty. But now we're going to burn their entire organization down if we can.
Forces of Nature, Books 1 and 2, Scorcher and Thin Ice are available now wherever books are sold online. See www.kellygentner.com.
Good morning! Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.